these are difficult times, but one important step for the ESM and for banking union was taken yesterday. The ESM treaty was signed by our member states, with the exception of Estonia. They have a new government, but they made it very clear they will sign soon. Politically, all this was agreed last November, December by the Eurogroup, the Euro Summit, but yesterday was an important legal step so that we can now begin the ratification process, because the ESM treaty is an international treaty. It was adopted by parliaments of all our 19 member states. To change the treaty, again, these 19 parliaments have to ratify it. The main changes are that we will be authorized to provide a backstop to the Single Resolution Fund, so for bank resolution. As you know, they are building up their own funds, but in a big crisis, that may not be enough. In other countries, like the FDIC in the US, they have a credit line with the US Treasury. We don't have a treasury in the euro area, so the ESM was asked to provide this service. So we will set up this backstop for the SRF. The other main changes of the ESM treaty are things like revamping our toolbox. Precautionary credit lines will become easier to use. And it has been clarified that if there were another major adjustment loan needed for our member states, then in the future, the ESM would work very much together with the European Commission to negotiate and monitor such a program, something that was done in the past by the Troika,
Klaus,
which no longer exists.
Klaus, I think in part you may have answered my question, anticipating the obvious question which I ask you on a regular basis, is has this changed the stigma attached to accessing the ESM? And I think in part you answered that because talking about the credit lines being easier to use.
Yeah, stigma has several meanings. It's very clear that there's no stigma in the markets. That has been confirmed again and again by market participants. And that's often what people understand when they hear stigma. But one could argue that there's a political stigma. In some countries, governments are reluctant to use the ESM because they think there's conditionality attached, so painful reforms. And I think you referred to our latest facility that was adopted last May and which is available to all our member states, has not been used. But because it's a precautionary credit line, that's fine. It's available and markets know that, countries know that. And this has already helped to calm down markets. It's something that the International Monetary Fund also offers to its member states, precautionary credit lines that are available when needed. But this political stigma may be there in some countries, but I think with the ESM treaty reform, that's also a good way to get out of that.